Hi, and welcome to our podcast, Good Deeds, Real Estate with a Mission. I'm Diane Davidson from the Fine Homes Group at Keller Williams, and I'm here with Bill Weidecker, my business partner, husband, soulmate.
Such a chore. The way you said that.
Remembering all the roles.
Yeah, there's so many.
So today we've decided to just have a little ad lib about the business, us, our team, whatever kind of comes up, right?
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
well, that sounds good to me.
Did we not discuss it before?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll think of something.
Okay.
What would you like to know about me?
Enough about what is enough about me?
Yeah,
Let's
enough
talk
about
you.
me.
What do you think about
What do
me?
you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about me?
Okay. There's an echo in here.
Yes.
Okay. So, all right, I'll just start. How long have you been in the business?
In
Real estate.
human years, I've completed 39 years, and I'm in my 40th year in selling real estate. So 1983, February the 26th, 1983, Saturday morning is when I sat for the real estate exam.
It's your birthday.
Yes, it is. It was my birthday. It was my 21st birthday, and so about 2 months later, I started in the real estate business. So if you say, well, all right, here we are. I've completed 39 years about a few weeks ago. So I'm now in my 40th year in the real estate business.
So I was February 3rd, 1979. We won't talk about what birthday it wasn't my birthday that day, but we're not going to talk about how old I was either.
Okay.
You would think 12 or so. Even that could be a stretch, but a little more than that.
They're much more liberal in California, which
Much
is where
more.
you got your license.
Absolutely.
So you were selling real estate in the Bay Area.
I was San Francisco. Yep, in and around.
Is
mostly
that where the San Francisco is?
in
Is
the
that in the Bay Area?
Well, there's the Massachusetts Bay. You know, there are more than one bay, but yes, in San Francisco and around San Francisco, and moved back here in '83 and started. Is that right? Yeah, started working on site for a company called the Codman Company, which I thought I've told you the story, but I thought it was the Cardman Company, and everybody I was allowing for the Boston accent. So when I was lost on Congress Street looking for their office for my interview and went to a payphone and I dialed 411. I think it's still dialing then. And I said, "Can I have the number for the Codman Company, please?" Sorry, for the Cardman Company, please. And the operator was looking up. She's like, "How do you spell it?" I said, "Cardman, right? Cardman." And she couldn't find it. I said, "I know it's there. I know it's this address, and I don't get whatever." Anyway, yep. So I realized after she said, "I have one that's Codman," and I said, "Oh yes, that's it."
So you started there working on site.
On
What
site
were you
for
selling?
Condominiums in Winthrop. Seal Harbor.
Oh. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I started, believe it or not, we're at 168 South River Road, which is where our office is.
Yes.
And I started at 167 South River Road. So in 39 years, I've moved 150 feet across the street, which is where we are now. And I work for a company called Global Realty, and the broker that hired me, Ron Buford, is his name and was his name even then. He asked me. He said, why do you want to get into the real estate business? And I was a Johnson and Wales culinary student. I'd come back to Manchester. I was working in the restaurant business, and I really was getting sick of working nights and weekends. And not, I was 21. I didn't know that real estate was a lot of nights and a lot of weekends. And he asked me why, and I said, well, my mother used to get Architectural Digest, and I just loved thumbing through there and looking at all the beautiful homes, and I'm a people person. I just love people, and so he said, if you do this long enough, you'll come to. Both of them will disagree with you. And by the way, in Architectural Digest, you're not gonna be selling any of those houses. And I thought, oh no, and but I somehow found my way and enjoyed it. How did you decide? I mean, at that point, you from 1979 to 1983, you were at it 4 years. How did you decide? I'm going to stay with this. Well,
I loved it. I got into it by accident. I think most real estate agents probably start by accident. I don't think lots of kids grow up thinking I want to be a real estate agent, but it is a wonderful career and a wonderful life. So kids, take note. Why did I stick with it? It was always a new challenge. I did all sorts of different things. At 83 is when I moved back to Massachusetts to be near my parents from the Bay Area. And, that's when I started on-site sales, so that was a little bit different than what I was doing in San Francisco. I did that for like 5 years or so. Then I managed some offices in Boston. Got back into listing and selling in 1990. I remember thinking, oh, I don't have much credibility. In 95, I'd only been doing it 5 years. But now, 32 years later, if I did the math right, I think I have a little credibility, a little street cred. I love it. And I still love houses and I still love people. Not every house and not every person, but I think it's a great career. And by the way, Ron was wrong because we have sold some homes that are absolutely Architectural Digest worthy.
Yes, it's just
So
that he didn't see that for me.
Neither did I.
And at least he didn't see it immediately. However, he became, in my career, he became one of my biggest boosters. He challenged me very often to see what I didn't see in myself that he saw. So he always saw a little more in me in the early parts of my career, and even recently, he was always seeing for me more than what I was seeing for myself. And so I think it's so important to have somebody that you can call a mentor, that you can call a friend, that also can call you out on some of your own BS from time to time, your own thinking. He's in the. It's funny because he's in the money business. He buys coins, and so sometimes we will have occasion to be able to help him refer business to him. And I said I might be interested in buying some silver or some gold. I see this advertised on Fox News or on some of the other stations about it's a great hedge in case the world gets turned on its head. And he goes, oh, you can't be one of those people. Please tell me you're not going to be one of those people. You're going to start prepping. And I said, okay. The point is that back to the business, I love the business as much as you did back in the early stages. I started to really, really like it. And I felt that I was good at it and that I could always get, like you said, a new challenge. I could always get a little better. Any unseen, so the question I would ask of you is, any unseen rewards? What would you have done? Do you have any idea what you would have done if you weren't doing this?
I have no idea. And over the years, it's sort of as you get more and more involved and you have more and more success, and when I say success, I don't mean monetary, because that often seems to follow if you're doing something that fulfills you and that helps people. I think there were times when we all sort of feel burnout or we're frustrated, or so we have a series of things that aren't as great as they could be in business. And so I think there were times when I'd think, oh, maybe I'll do this or that, but I couldn't imagine doing anything that would have been as rewarding. When you have a whole lot of time and soul invested in something, it's hard to change. And I don't have any regrets. I love that our professional, our day-to-day has changed. We're both in positions where we are involved in the transactions, but we work with a team that it's just really rewarding to me. It's really rewarding to help others. And no regrets, I don't think. Mm-mm.
I look back and I think, one of the things that I found helpful was that this concept of working nights and working weekends wasn't as big of a problem as I thought it might be. Meaning that working around other people's schedules gave me flexibility that nobody else had during the day. And we've talked about it. We were able to see, when the kids were young, we were able to do things with them that other people couldn't do as easily. It's not to say that they couldn't do it, it's just they couldn't do it as easily because they had schedules. They had, work obligations, and our obligations might be nights or weekends, and so we could work around our schedules to fit in all of the things that were priorities for the kids, or at least, if not all, most, right? Mm-hmm. It gave us a much better sense of why I can look back on it now, and I don't have the regret. Can you always say, oh, I wish we could have done more? Sure, I wish we could have been more flexible, even more flexible in our schedules, but I'm proud of the fact that we were able to do a lot as a result of this business. This business has been great to us in that regard. You know, it isn't like we're only working 20 hours a week. We're still finding ourselves working 40, 50 hours a week. But it's when we're working and how we can do all the other things that we get fulfillment out of. It's been a fantastic business in that regard.
I agree. I remember early on thinking, well, first of all, there are a couple of things. Well, ask me afterwards what advice I would give to newer agents, because I do want to talk about that. But I remember being a fairly new agent and not knowing about time blocking and taking any time for myself. But I remember thinking, God, I wish I had a real job. Like all these clients back, but I can remember they were working for Data General, Digital.
Yeah.
I hope I don't get sued. Let me name a few more companies that are no longer in
Colesman.
business, or they were
Yeah.
in one of the big four accounting firms that merged, and so people became redundant, and whoever kind of was related to somebody in power was the person who kept the role, and the person who might have been more qualified didn't. Anyway, I remember thinking before I understood all of that, I wish I had a real job, a regular job with a paycheck and health insurance.
Set for the rest of their life.
And then I realized, you know what? I have so much more control. They have a ceiling. They have to answer to people that they may not want to answer to. They don't have the flexibility that we have. And it's just, I realize that it is a real job. And if you're good at it, there's nothing to be nervous about with regard to income that can sustain you. But it took me a little while. I was sort of jealous of these people who who had to go to the same place every day and see the same people.
But think about this: what existed for us in the the 1980s, the 1990s, and the early 2000s, and didn't exist for others. Now sort of exists for others because talented people in all of those jobs, in banking, in finance, in tech, in in the defense industry, all those jobs now are much more mobile, much more transferable. If they weren't getting what they needed at the job they were at, they could move. Today they can move to another job. Right. Back then it was like, I'm here, man. I'm here until I get the watch. Right. Because they had no choice.
Well, you're tarnished if you left too soon.
Yeah, jumping around.
Now jumping around it's almost like it's expected. It's respected, right?
Yeah.
I remember when our older daughter Emily was decided to make a change after being in a job 6 months. We were all a little bit nervous, but she had been there as a paid intern and on her co-op, and then an employee. So an employee only for 6 months, but she wasn't learning, and she wasn't stimulated enough and learning enough. And I applied. We were all nervous, but I applaud her now. She's at a company where the culture is amazing. They completely walk the walk, and she made it. And I don't think we come from a different perspective. I don't think it carried the stigma that we remember from way back when.
Well, it was the difference of not being able to hold a job at any one place versus very talented and in demand at all kinds of places. Yeah. They keep plucking people away from this organization to here. It's just a different perspective, which we got to see in our profession before others did in the rest of the working world in this country. You said this, and it's nagging me, so I'm going to ask you this question. You said, remind me about new people in the business. What advice would you have?
I have no idea.
There's the problem. You gotta...
Just like home. So I just wanted to talk about time blocking. I know that, but I remember being in the business and literally not taking a day off for well over 30 days. I don't know how many days. That didn't mean that I didn't have time to drop something up at the dry cleaners, whatever, but there was never even a majority of a whole day that was mine, my personal day. And, now Keller Williams, I have to say, does an amazing job of teaching agents to live put their personal life first.
Yeah.
That's not the detriment or sacrifice of their clients, but it just makes you sort of healthier, understanding. I always say you can either live to work or work to live, right? And we work to live. We do a good job at what we do, and we therefore have a good life because of it. And so I think agents are more valuable to their clients if they remember to just take a little personal time and not feel like they have to work 24/7. That's my opinion. I know there are agents who say, I'm available to you 24/7, but are you really available, or are you just kind of available? And I think it's just really important to put, whether it's your family, your friends, your cats, whatever that means, to understand that you're not as good to other people if you haven't been good to yourself.
Well,
that's it. That's all I say.
I think it's easier than that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I do. And that is most people, we look at time and we think, well, there's an infinite amount of it. Well, there isn't an infinite. There's always more time. You can always put more time into it. Well, it's this. There's 168 hours in the week, and we know this. There's work time, and then there's our family time or our time with our friends, and those are two separate times. And then there's this amount of time that we sleep. And those are the three things. Now, what is the fourth thing? The wasted time.
Mm.
And that's the thief, the way I look at it. And we don't waste it. We don't say, let's block 4 hours to waste. We don't do it that way. What we do is we lose 15 minutes here in an hour. We lose a half an hour over here, 30 there, 15, 10, 5. And before you know it, we've gotten to a point where something's got to give in the rest of our day. It's either our sleep, our family time, or our time that's valuable with our friends, or our work. Something has to give. And if it's the sleep, then it affects the other two things because you're not operating at full capacity. It is really the wasted time. And if you block the time for your work and you block the time for your family and friends, the rest falls into place. You just end up wasting less time, in my opinion. And I think we've gotten good at that. I think our clients don't suffer.
No.
And if anything can suffer, it's the fact that we probably, if we're wasting a little time, it's the sleep end of things. Because we do block our time to do the things we want to do in our life too. So, all right, that's helpful. Parting thoughts about
I'm just trying to figure out where binge watching fits in Ozark, Yellowstone, like that. I don't know if that's.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite of what you would binge watch?
Well, I already have binge watching.
But let's pretend you could watch anything all over again for the first time. What would it be?
What do I love the most? You know what? That's like saying what's your favorite food. Truly, I can't answer. Depends on the mood, and I've enjoyed many. I love Schitt's Creek. Can I say that on a podcast?
You just
I
did.
spelled it with
You
a C.
just did. I think I would watch Breaking Bad all over again if watching it. But see, that's where things are different. You and I. All right, I think we've taken enough time today, and you and me. It's you and me. When is it I?
Things are always.
It's always about I.
Okay, well, this was fun, I guess. Yes.
No.
It was fun.
It was good.
It was good.
Can we say that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can say that. It was
And we're
good.
working on making it better.
There we are.
Yeah.
Always.
Now, if I was comparing this today to another one, would I say this one was the best? Or would I say this one was the better?
If it was just comparing to one, the better.
The better. Yeah.
Best 3 or more.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. We're learning.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that's it for today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on your favorite podcast platform. Did I get that right? Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Bye.